Hey everybody, so I'm jumping right back in here, hoping to finish the quick start for DBT and BigQuery um, in this video. So we got as far as adding tests to our models, and I just want to just briefly um, jump over to Google's BigQuery because I always fumble around in here because I'm chances are good you're like me, you're learning two things at once, right? I'm not all that familiar with Google BigQuery, and I'm not all that familiar with DBT Labs, and so both of them have very, shall we say, robust interfaces with lots and lots of options. So so here I went to console.cloud.google.com, got myself signed in. If I hit the three bar menu on the left, the thing that I always forget is that Google Cloud is a whole bunch of things. BigQuery is just one of the many things, right, that it constitutes Google Cloud. So it makes sense in a way for me to hit that three bar menu, go down into down into BigQuery, and then to get to the BigQuery Studio, which is different from the DBT Studio. Click here. And now I can see the data sets that I've been working on. Here, I'm going to close some of these tabs here. Here's my project. And while there's the DBT Schaefer data set, so I'm expecting to see a variety of different tables inside the data set. If I go into the data set, here is the customers table that we created earlier today. But I also wanted to point out that the staging customers and staging orders were also materialized right here into my Schaefer BigQuery project. Um, so I thought that was good. That was good. We did that in the last video, and I wanted to review how to get here to confirm that. Okay, here I am in DBT Cloud. That's fine. I'm going to see if I can't find the learning path. Where did that go? Here it is. Here's my learning path. And again, I'm going to just kind of arrange the tabs on my screen here. 1 second. All right, I'm here in my learning path. I'm still in the quick start for DBT and BigQuery, and I'm up to step 13, adding tests to your models. I'm going to make the window a little bit skinnier so that I can have my instructions on the left and DBT Cloud Studio on the right. I'm going to click on Studio. Just my comprehension with regarding to tests is because we are using DBT to work with potentially multiple data sources, transform multiple data sources, what we may discover is that we may need to have some tests to do things like make sure that a certain column always has data in it. I don't have any null values, or that a column that's supposed to serve as a primary key needs to be unique. And I'm sure there's plenty of other tests as well. I'm just making this a little bigger. You can see that we've had some on lineage here. Previously, I was over here on commands, But if I go to lineage, it looks like some graphs have been created. Looks like Jaffle Shop orders is feeding staging orders, just feeding customers. I'm not sure I understand that relationship yet. So I'm not going to put too much mental energy into trying to figure that out. Let me hit reset. Um, hmm, hmm. I don't know quite how that's true, but that's okay because I'm learning and I don't need to know that right now. So I'm going to go back to my commands and probably minimize that for later. Here's my run box. It says that I can create a new YAML file in the models directory. Just a quick little side quest on this. I did a lookup on YAML. That is the AI overview here from Google is pretty good. In my brain, I had remembered that as being short for yet another markup language. That's because I remember when I started first hearing about it, right around the turn of the century here. But I'm now informed that it's short for YAML ain't markup language. So that sounds correct to me. I think in a previous video, I referred to it as a markup language because son of a gun, the M and the L are short for markup language, but that would be incorrect. It's more of a data serialization language. So it's closer to JSON than it is HTML. And if you find the name confusing, you are justified, right? Why would you put the M and the L in the name if you did not want people to confuse it with a markup language? But hey, what do I know? So it's a data serialization language. All right, enough about that. Let me just resize these windows and go back to my DBT. This is Google Cloud. This is my, those are my instructions. I don't want that over here. Here I am, back on Cloud. So it says create a new YAML file in the models directory. Okay, so here I am, I'm in models. I right click, I click a new file, and I'm going to call it schema.yml. And we're going to put this stuff in here, and it looks like we are specifying some rules in here. You can see that the customer ID in customers has to be unique and not null, which is typically what we're looking for in a primary key, and we repeat that sort of directive in all these other data sets. Likewise, we have another rule down here inside of orders, basically enumerating that the order acceptable values for the field with the name of status. An order may be placed, shipped, completed, returned pending, or returned. Those are the valid orders. And it's at this stage, it's not clear to me what happens if that's not true, but I'm not worried about that right now. What I'm worried about right now is making sure that we can, in fact, enforce these, and of course, getting through the tutorial. So for right now, I'm just aware that I can add tests to my model. I just did that. And we're going to see if it works. So I'm going to slide this over a little bit here, and I'm I hit save on my schema.yml file. I'm going to say dbt run, and I'm going to watch and see what happens. And it looks like everything, oh, it's still going. And orders, customers, okay, all of those materialized queries ran, or data sets ran okay. So that's good. So look for further reference, which I'm not going to do right now. You could say, well, that's great. What other tests are there? We're also we have some tests here validating the relationship that between two data sets. That's really good. When you run DB test, each query will return a number of records that fail the test. Okay, so we would know how many failures we had with that. But that's good for right now. Okay, next. Document your models. So it looks like we can add some documentation to our schema.yml file. So that's always a good thing. Here you can see the notes in here. 1 record per customer. First order date is null when a customer has not yet placed an order. That makes sense. And so on. So we're adding notes and descriptions to everything we care to document. So I'm going to do that. That means I come back over here to my schema.yml file, Control A to select everything, delete it, paste it in, hit save. Great. All right. Did all that. Catalog provides powerful tools to interact with your DBT projects, including documentation. Run one of the following commands if you're on DBT Core, this one, and if you're on DBT Fusion Engine, run this one. So I'm guessing that we are on DBT Fusion Engine. So I'm going to say DBT build and click catalog on the navigation menu. To launch catalog. Catalog reflects production by default. If your account has additional environments, for example, staging, you can select them in the drop-down box. Okay. Oh, they've given us some pictures here. I wonder if I can find it. Well, we'll see what I can do. I'm going to try DBT build. So now I'm down in here. And enter. And it looks like that's running. And I'm having a little trouble keeping everything on the screen at the same time. So I'm going to move these instructions off to my second monitor and expand this window. So looking at my other monitor, I ran DBT build. It says click catalog in the navigation menu to launch catalog, which is a little bit of a problem because it's not immediately clear to me what is meant by that. I'm kind of guessing that this is the menu and that perhaps catalog was renamed documentation. I'm not sure about that. That's a guess. Because it could very well be Okay. If your account has additional environments, for example, staging, you can select them in the drop down. I don't see a drop down anywhere. Let me go to the dashboard. No. So it's not clear to me how to change the environment. Let me go back to here, here. I don't know how to change the environment. That is kind of a bummer. Let me go back to Studio. It says select your project from the file tree. Oh, we're getting our pictures seems to be getting better. All right. Pausing the video. So if I click here and I use the search bar, and I type in customers, okay. So it looks like the lineage changes depending on which file I have open. So that was actually a pretty good picture there. So this is my source data. I like the arrows. Source data, staging, and those two things get combined into my customer's source. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. So the notes say catalog displays your model's description, column documentation, data tests, and lineage graph. you can see which columns are missing documentation and track test coverage across your project. Well, I see the lineage graph. Let me go back to documentation. I wonder if I try dbt, the model appears in the run results of a dbt build, dbt run, or dbt clone command. Note that dbt docs generate alone does not create model entries in a catalog. Let me just try dbt docs generate, just because I'm curious about that. Going back. So I go to Studio. Commands. I'm in dev. It says it did something. Oh, no, dbt docs generate is not supported. I'm reading some more. It says, how do I access documentation in dbt catalog? I have dbt developer plan, and dbt core users can use dbt docs, which generates basic documentation but doesn't offer the same speed, metadata, or visibility. So maybe that's what I want. No, dbt docs generate. So I'm going to think that maybe this is one of those things that makes more sense when I get into Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to shelve this one for now, because I see that the dbt build command runs, but I do not know where I'm supposed to look for this supposed documentation. Okay, wait a minute. Add customers model. Okay, it says compile write catalog in the command bar in order to view the most recent docs for this project. Oh, is that what I'm supposed to do? What was the command again? Compile write catalog. Okay, that's very nice. I wonder where that went. It looks like it did something. Everything passed. Documentation? Nope. So there you have it. Not. I can see the lineage graph, and that's nice. I don't know where to find the documentation, largely because I do not know where catalog is in the navigation menu. I can only assume that this is the navigation menu, right? And if that's not the navigation menu, then what is? Version control, file explorer. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was fun. All right, now, let's see what else we have here in our learning path. Coming back around here to, we added our test. We think we documented our models. We're going to commit our changes. There's a commit and sync button, and a modal window titled commit to a new branch will appear. All right, so I'm just going to move this onto the other screen, and I'm going to do those things. So here I am. Here we go, version control. If I collapsed that before, here it is. And it says hit the commit and sync button. Got it. And okay, hang on. All right, so it looks like this is the right one. It doesn't say commit to a new branch, but I think that's what it's going to do. In the modal window, okay, name your new branch. We already did that. Add a comment, because it's already called add customers modal, a model. Here, let me just cancel that so you can see what I'm pointing at. It's already called add customers model, so I'm not giving it a new name. And then these are the words I'm reading, right? Add customers, models, tests, and docs. Okay, I'm so incredibly lazy that I'm copying and pasting that. And I'm going to commit changes. There it goes. Just thinking about it. And then click merge this branch to main. Okay. Great. If you, all right, that's good. Yeah. It says if you created a new branch before editing, which is what I did. So I did these things. So pretty straightforward there. Hit next. Use dbt scheduler to deploy your production jobs confidently and build observability into your processes. You'll learn to create a deployment environment and run a job in the following steps. Oh, so now we're out of dbt Studio and we're going into environments. All right, environments. Okay, so now I'm going to orchestration and environments. From the main menu, go to orchestration and environments. Did that. Create an environment. Okay. We're going to give that environment a name. It says in the name field, write the name of your deployment environment, for example, production. Okay, I'm going to call this I don't know. DBT version will default to the latest available. We recommend all new projects run on the latest version of DBT. Under the deployment connection, I'm going to call this production. Under the deployment connection, enter the name of the data set you want to use as the target, such as analytics. There's nothing in the instructions here. I'm on step 16. There's nothing in the instructions here about creating a connection profile. Well, I can only assume that this is the next button. I'm going to create a new profile, create a profile name. I don't know exactly what I'm doing here. Profiles contain connection and credential information to connect to the data warehouse. All right, so I guess I'll call this the deployment profile. I just made that up, and my connection is my one and only connection, and I'm using my service account, and you have to have the name of the data set. Okay, I guess we get to, I think we get to make that up. So just peeking over here on BigQuery, data sets. So it's either going to be, either it's going to create it or I've got to use this, dbt Schaefer. Well, I'll find out in a minute. All right, I'm going to test the connection. It says it did it. All right, create the profile. Oh, profile keys cannot contains, okay. Spaces of special characters. Okay. And looks like I click save. All right. Create and run and run a job. Jobs are a set of DBT commands that you want to run on a schedule. For example, DBT build. As the Jaffle Shop business gains more customers and those customers create more orders, you will see more records added to your source data. Because you materialized the customer's model as a table, you'll need to periodically rebuild your table to ensure that your data stays up to date. This will happen when you run a job. After creating your deployment environment, you should be directed to the page for a new environment. Yeah, I think I did this. If not, select orchestration from the main menu, then click jobs. Here we go. Create a job. Click create job, deploy job, provide a job name. I have to scroll up. Okay. For example, production run. Okay. Scroll down to execution settings. Under commands, type in dbt build. It's already there. Select generate docs on run. I don't see that. Catalog metadata updates automatically for Fusion jobs, so you no longer need to run docs. Okay, that's nice. That was step 6. 7, don't set a schedule, right? And then, but this is where you could do that, theoretically. And then we click save. I think, and run now. Yeah, again, I had to scroll down. Run now. Click the run and watch its progress under run summary. Once the run is complete, click View Documentation to see the docs for your project. Still don't see any documentation. These are the things it did. Maybe, is that it? Okay. Maybe, I wonder, is that artifacts? is view documentation artifacts. I'm not sure. Maybe. Now I'm going to say yes. That's going to be my, until somebody tells me different. And it says, congratulations, you've deployed your first DBT project. And back. Okay. So we made it, we did this, and okay. Back to guides, I guess. No. All right. How do I get back? Okay. Learn. Continue. Continue. Oh, we did our step by step. Did we do everything back there? Wait a minute. Oh, no, we don't need setting up DBT for administrators. Next. Okay, I don't think we need this because we already have that special JSON file. Okay. Hey, we got past welcome. Wow. Okay. Hey, gang, congratulations. You've completed Introduction to SQL, which had very little SQL in it. All right. Hitting pause. I'll pick up here next time.